Hey, what's up you guys, it's your boy Drew here back again with another video for all you American soccer fans out there. And in this video, we're going to talk about the midfielders called up to the 40-man roster for this Gold Cup this summer. We've already talked about on this channel the goalkeepers and the defenders. Now we're moving our way up the field to the midfielders, which is my favorite thing to talk about when coming to the U.S. National team. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, but first, as always, if you guys love soccer and you want to see it get the growth and respect it deserves in this country, and you want to be part of that change, then subscribe down below and be part of it. Let's look at the players we've got called up to this 40-man roster. We got Michael Bradley from Toronto, Dwayne Holmes from Derby County in the English Championship, Sebastian Lletget from LA Galaxy, Weston McKennie from Schalke, Georgi Mihailovic from Chicago Fire, Darlington Nagbe from Atlanta United, Christian Pulisic from Chelsea, Christian Roldan from Seattle Sounders, and of course Will Trapp from Columbus Crew. So, as you can see, we got a big mix of players. We got center and defensive midfielders, we got attacking midfielders, we got just holding midfielders, wingers as well in here. So what I think is the number of players who are going to be called up to the final team. We got like 9 players here. I think we'll have maybe a total of 6 players called up from these 9 midfielders here. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the 6 players that I want to see be called up and why I think they should be called up to the final 23-man roster this June. Let's start off with Michael Bradley. You know, a lot of people really give him a lot of stake. They're not too fond of him right now, especially over recent years. And guess what? Your boy Drew's one of those people. I wish he was kind of phased out, but I feel like he's a player who's really hard to phase out of this national team. Players like Josie Altidore or Omar Gonzalez. I mean, the reason I think he was called up really is because of his experience. He's a veteran of the national team. You know, he's got a lot of leadership qualities. He'd be a really good head to have in the locker room, trying to get the players motivated, keep the players, you know, like focused on the game. He knows the Gold Cup in and out. He knows CONCACAF in and out. So of course he'd be a really good player to have in a national team, despite how I think his technical ability and his key passes, his game is kind of like slowly wearing down more and more as the years goes by. But I still think he can offer some of that good leadership qualities. Is what I think these young group of midfielders really need. They need a really strong leader in there. Maybe even if he's just on the bench, trying to help lead the team, for practices or even the pre-games or whatever they call them. I think he'd be a good person to have in the final roster. So Michael Bradley is in my first pick out of these 6. So guessing or thinking maybe that Greg Berhalter will want to go with a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2 formation. Most likely a 4-4-2 that we can have 2 strikers up top. That seems to be the most common U.S. men's national team formation. So if we go over a 4-2-2, we'll need another player alongside Michael Bradley to hold that midfield in place, try to cut passing lanes, make some key passes, man mark some people. And I think another player who I think would be great alongside Michael Bradley would be Christian Roldan. I think Christian Roldan is having a really great season right now with Seattle Sounders, and I'm going to get the momentum that he's got right now and push it into the national team as well. I think he's a really great player. He's still young, still has a lot to offer, still very new to the national team. So really getting him mixed into that experience of the national team and the Gold Cup and big tournaments for the U.S. men's national team will be a really, really good thing for him and for the U.S. midfield going forward. So if you have Michael Bradley, we have Christian Roldan as a center midfielders, holding that midfield together. Obviously, they can't play every single game, so we're going to need another player to back them up when they're injured or tired or worn out, whatever. And I think a good player to have them backed up with is Will Trapp from Columbus Crew. And I feel like Greg Berhalter already has a good pass with Will Trapp because he was the coach of Columbus Crew before he took over the national team. So he knows Will Trapp in and out, like how good of a player he is. He knows his strengths and weaknesses, and I feel like he did call him up for the previous games earlier this year, and I think he did a decent job. So I think Greg Berhalter is still going to stick with him and want to call him up as a backup to Bradley and Roldan. I'm totally okay with that. So that's 3 players down. Now we need 3 more. So we got the center midfield kind of nice and packed in there. So now we need the outside, and I think a good outside player, obviously, I mean, Christian Pulisic, our freaking golden boy right now, our wonder kid, a player who I hope doesn't crack under the pressure of American hype. I hope that hype that we're giving him doesn't help his career crumble. Like, I really don't want him to turn to another Freddie Adu or to whoever else. These many lists of players who have had this potential in the national team and in just American soccer in general, and slowly crash down. So I'm really praying and hoping Christian Pulisic does not become one of those players. So obviously, you guys know why Christian Pulisic is going to be picked in here, because why won't you pick Christian Pulisic? He's gonna bring a lot of game attention. He's gonna bring a lot of viewers to watch this game because it's Christian Pulisic. He's our main guy right now. Even though he didn't have the best season with Dortmund, I still think he's really prized possession. So obviously, fourth pick, Christian Pulisic. And on the other side, I think another player who's really technical with the ball, really good with the ball at his feet, really good pace, really good key passes, really good finishing if he gets the opportunity to. Darlington Nagbe. I know he's had a pretty rough season so far. The Portland Timbers not really doing well in MLS. Okay, I meant to say Atlanta United, not Portland Timbers. I had to put that out there because I know if I didn't, someone would call me out and be like, Drew, do you know what the f*** you're even talking about on here? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I just messed up. So I figured I'd just cover my ass. And that's it. Okay, just wanted to clear that up. Let's get back to the video. I'll see you guys next time. But I think that doesn't shy anything away from Darlington Nagbe's technical ability on the pitch, and something that really the midfield that we have right now really lacks. Besides Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie, I think Darlington Nagbe will be another great addition to have for the national team. So that's 5 players already down. So we need one more. One more player, one more midfielder who can go attacking, stay back, maybe play on the wing if needed. And we need a good young player as well. Oh, duh, Weston McKennie. I mean, I know he didn't have a really great season at all with Schalke. I think he scored like 2 goals and 1 assist this season, which is whatever. But like Schalke didn't really have the best season. They were like almost towards the relegation zone in the Bundesliga table. So I was like, dude, Schalke is like a big team in Germany. So like, it was kind of shocking to a lot of soccer fans to see them not perform that poorly. But I think so, nonetheless, Weston McKennie is another player just like Christian Pulisic, who's young, he's upcoming, he's got a great amount of potential. Why won't you pick him in this roster? You'd be foolish not to Greg Berhalter if you don't pick Weston McKennie in your final 23-man squad. But that's basically it. That's my whole list of players that I wanted. These midfielders that we have coming up in the ranks are so great. I mean, we got players like Georgi Mihalovic, who's playing for Chicago Fire right now. He's only 19 years old, or maybe 20 years old as of right now. But I think, he's still very new to the national team. He's not going to have that much experience. We got Sebastian Lletget, who's been really having not the best season so far with LA Galaxy, even though LA Galaxy is doing really well. I feel like Sebastian Lletget is not matching that greatness that LA Galaxy is on right now. Which is fine. He's still early in the season. He'll break into his form. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to having Lletget on the team. I think he provides really good coverage in the midfield. He can play in the center. He can play as an attacking midfielder. He can play on the wings, which is really good to have a player who can do all of those things. We also got Dwayne Holmes from Derby County, who, I don't really know much about him, but I wonder if you guys do. If you do, let me know down below how he's doing in Derby County. I don't really follow Derby County that close, but what I am following is that Dwayne Holmes, obviously, is an American. He's had, what I saw so far, 2 goals and 1 assist so far in 27 games for Derby County this season. And right now he's trying to help them reach the Premier League height since 2009 for Derby County. So I think tomorrow on Monday, they're playing against Aston Villa in the Championship playoff final to see who gets promoted to the Premier League. So I'm definitely gonna be watching that game. Hopefully Dwayne Holmes at least starts the game or gets used as a substitute. Because if he is, and if he does help this team move on to the Premier League, and if he plays a really key role in that, then I can totally see Greg Berhalter be like, you know what, this guy has something special about him. Because obviously Greg Berhalter noticed something about Dwayne Holmes that made him get a call up for this 40-man roster. I mean, when's the last time you saw Dwayne Holmes ever get called up? I don't think ever. So if he can improve Greg Berhalter on the improvement he already has right now, I think he can definitely be called up to the national team. Maybe make just 7 midfielders called up total. But I'm guessing that they're just going to keep it at 6 midfielders called up in total. And that's my final 6. Michael Bradley, because he's just a leadership, he's experienced. Not my first pick, but whatever. Michael Bradley, Will Trapp, Christian Roldan, Weston McKennie, Christian Pulisic, and Darlington Nagbe. I think that's a really good, solid midfield that we can have for the Gold Cup this summer. Really give a lot of teams trouble. really be able to try to keep possession of the ball, because the most important thing. I'm really big believer in the tiki-taka stuff. Passing, keeping possession. Possession wins games. I really am a strong believer of that. So I really hope our national team is able to have that attribute in their gameplay. So that's it. Those are my midfielders I'm going to pick. I would love to hear your midfielders down below. And what's really cool, if you guys are not subscribed yet, the next video we're going to talk about in the series is obviously the strikers. And we've got a lot of freaking strikers to talk about. Next video, which will probably be out tomorrow, maybe the next day. And after that striker video, I'm going to go on FIFA. I'm going to bring up all the national team players. Well, I'm going to bring up the 23-man squad roster that I want to see in full. You guys will see it with me. I'm going to explain the formation I think works best with this national team right now. And I'm going to just show you guys my whole setup. So, I'm really excited to do that. I'm really excited to pick my players and put them in a good formation for the national team. And speculate how good they could be going forward in this tournament. So, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for kicking with me. Leave all your comments down below. Leave all your player predictions, who you want to see playing in this Gold Cup down below. And I'll see you next time.